been 6 months since she died. Then my phone buzzed with her name, a voice I shouldn't hear, calling like she was still here. It started on a night that felt wrong before anything happened. One of those nights where the air tastes metallic and the silence feels like it's holding its breath. I'd been lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying not to think about her again. Emily, my best friend, my almost everything, gone for 6 months. The grief still sat in my chest like a wet stone, heavy, cold, impossible to swallow. I'd gotten used to the ache, but not the guilt. At 2:11 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. The vibration cut through the quiet like a blade scraping across glass. I didn't look at it right away. I thought it was a notification, maybe an email. But then the screen glowed a little brighter, and the name appeared. Emily. My heart didn't just skip, it stopped, completely. Her contact photo, the one of her laughing with her hair blowing everywhere, lit up the room in a soft, ghostly blue. My first instinct was denial. Some glitch, some synced account issue, some stupid cosmic accident. But the phone kept vibrating in that slow, heavy rhythm, as if it was waiting for me. Against every instinct of survival I had, I picked it up. Hello? My voice cracked like old wood. For a moment there was only silence. But it wasn't empty. It pulsed, thick, humming like the air inside a tunnel before a train arrives. Then I heard it. A fragile inhale. Wet, ragged, familiar. Alex, she whispered. Her voice sounded like it was coming from far away. Too far. Like it traveled through cold water, through miles of soil, through something hollow and endless. I squeezed my eyes shut. Emily? How? She cut me off. Please, don't hang up. The way she said it, like she'd been waiting months just to speak those 3 words, flattened my lungs. Tiny pops of static crackled through the line, like something brushing against the microphone. Emily, where are you? Another breath, shaky, then barely audible. Behind you. I spun around so fast the blanket tangled around my legs, but my room was empty. Just shadows clinging to the corners and the faint hum of the refrigerator downstairs. When I turned back toward the phone, the call was still active, but she wasn't speaking anymore. She was crying. Soft, broken sobs. The exact way she cried the night before her accident. The sound that had haunted my dreams. Emily, I'm here, I whispered. I'm listening. Her sobbing stopped so suddenly, it felt like the temperature dropped a few degrees. Then she said it. Words that made my skin crawl tight around my bones. You didn't save me. My throat closed. I didn't know you needed saving. You did, she whispered. You always knew. Static roared for a moment, then her voice returned, thin, trembling. I tried to call you. That night, you didn't pick up. My vision blurred. I remembered that missed call. I'd ignored it. I'd been angry after our argument. I thought she needed space. Emily, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For a few seconds, the line was silent again. Then I heard something faint behind her voice. A slow, rhythmic beeping. Medical, mechanical. A heart monitor, but distorted, like it was echoing through a broken speaker. Alex, she whispered. I didn't want to go alone. My chest tightened until it hurt. The beeping slowed, then stopped, flatlined. Emily? I whispered. Emily, please. Her voice came one last time, quiet, shivering, drenched in cold. I don't blame you, but you have to go. Now. I froze. Go where? That place you avoid, she said, where you left the flowers. Don't wait, please. The line went dead. I drove to her memorial spot like a man possessed. The roads were empty, the world muted, as if holding its breath. When I reached the small bench where I'd left flowers months ago, something on the ground caught my eye. A phone. Her phone. The screen lit up, cracked, fogged from the cold, and displayed one notification. Last outgoing call. Alex, 2:11 a.m. The timestamp matched my call exactly. I dropped the phone. My hands wouldn't stop shaking, because if her phone was here, then who, what, had been holding it? And if you're still listening, tell me. Would you answer if it happened to you? Could you face the voice of someone who shouldn't exist? And if you did, would you keep listening even if you couldn't tell what was really on the other end? "8 months after we buried her, my phone buzzed. The sender's name, Mom. My chest froze, my fingers shook, and the typing dots crawled across the screen like something alive waiting for me to look. I hadn't visited my mother's grave in months, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much. Grief has a way of turning simple places into landmines. Even the smell of fresh soil made my throat tighten. She'd been gone 8 months. Heart failure. Sudden. Unfair. We buried her with her favorite things. A small locket, her wedding ring, and her old phone. She always said she hated to be unreachable, even in death. We kept the phone turned off. It felt symbolic, like she was just sleeping. That night, the rain felt wrong. Heavy, sticky, like it was falling slower than usual. I'd just come out of the shower when my phone buzzed on the counter. The steam hadn't cleared from the mirror yet, so everything looked blurred, dreamlike. The notification said, "One new message. Mom." For a moment, my brain refused to process it. I stared at the name, the contact photo, her smiling at the beach, wind in her hair, and my stomach twisted so violently I had to grab the sink. I opened the message. It was just one line. "Why did you leave me here?" My entire body froze. My first thought, someone cloned her SIM, some sick joke. But the account had been disconnected. The phone was physically inside her coffin. I typed with shaking fingers. "Who is this?" The typing dots appeared instantly. 3 dots. Pause. 3 dots again, like fingers tapping from somewhere cold. Finally, a reply appeared. "It's dark. It's so dark." The room suddenly felt colder, like something invisible brushed past my shoulder. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I texted, "Mom, is this you?" This time the typing dots moved slower, like someone struggling. Then, "I hear you, but you don't hear me." I backed away from the phone like it might bite me. A tremor started in my hands that wouldn't stop. The phone buzzed again. A picture message. No preview. Just a loading icon spinning and spinning and spinning. When the image finally appeared, I staggered backwards so fast I nearly slipped on the wet floor. It was a photo of dirt. Packed soil. Close up. Grainy. Moist. Taken from beneath something wooden. Thin beams above, stained dark. Like the inside of a coffin. I dropped the phone. It clattered against the tiles, echoing too loud in the cramped bathroom. My brain kept trying to rationalize. Hacker, glitch, nightmare. But none of it held. Not when the next text appeared. "I can't breathe." I felt my knees give a little. I'd buried my mother. I'd touched the casket. I'd watched it go into the ground. This wasn't possible. It shouldn't be
possible, and yet she always said ghosts weren't real. But regret was. The phone buzzed again, and the sound was like a scream trapped in metal. Why didn't you come today? My breath hitched. Today was her birthday. I didn't visit. I couldn't handle it. My shaking fingers typed, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I miss you." The reply came instantly. "Then come get me." Something deep inside me broke. Something small. Something childlike. I grabbed my keys before I even realized what I was doing. The cemetery was 15 minutes away, but the drive felt endless. The further I went, the quieter the world became. No cars, no wind, just this thick, suffocating silence pressing against the windows. By the time I reached her grave, the rain had stopped. The ground glistened like black glass. My phone buzzed. Another text. "I hear you walking." My skin crawled. "Mom?" I whispered to the dark. Then, another message. A voice note. My fingers shook as I pressed play. At first, it was faint. A muffled scraping, a weak thud, something dragging. Then, a voice. Her voice. But distorted, choked, wet. "Please, please, don't leave me again." My heart cracked open. Every part of me wanted to dig, to scream, to tear the earth apart. But then the last text came. One that didn't sound like her at all. "She isn't alone down here." The soil to my right shifted, just once. A tiny movement, like something beneath the ground turning toward me. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't breathe until I reached my car. Now, I keep getting texts at the same time every night. 2:03 a.m. Always the same message. "Come get me." And sometimes, when the typing dots appear, I swear another set appears beside them. So tell me, would you read every message if it might not be her? Could you face what's really buried beneath the soil and survive? And if you finally went to sea, would you come back or stay where the shadows whisper?
It started with a message I wasn't expecting, on a night when the world felt strangely hollow. My phone buzzed at 1:46 a.m., its glow slicing through the dark like a blade. Half asleep, I glanced at the screen, and my heart locked in my throat. Ethan, my best friend, dead for 3 years. For a long second, my brain tried to make sense of it. Glitch, old cloud backup, somebody spoofing his number, anything but this. But the notification pulsed gently on the screen like it was breathing. The message said, "Are you awake?" My vision blurred. Ethan used to send that exact text whenever he felt something was wrong with me, even before I admitted it myself. My fingers moved without permission. Who is this? The typing dots appeared instantly, floating, waiting, too alive. Then, it's me. I need to talk to you. A cold knot tightened in my chest. The typing cadence, the phrasing, it was exactly him.
The way he used to text when he was scared but didn't want me to know. I typed slowly, carefully. Ethan, how? His reply came razor sharp. I don't have long. You weren't supposed to forget me. A quiet pain opened inside me. I whispered into the empty room. I never forgot you. A new message. Then why did you stop going? I froze. He meant the crash site. The place where I stopped leaving flowers because it hurt too much to stand where he died. Where I wasn't with him. Where I should have been. My hands shook as I typed. I couldn't handle it. Instantly, Ethan replied, It hurts here too. A location pin followed. The exact spot of the accident. His road, his curve, his ghosts. Then one more message. Come now. The words felt wrong. Not cruel, just layered. Like someone else was inside the message with him. Still, something heavier than fear pushed me toward the door. The night outside felt unnaturally still, like the world was holding its breath. The drive was suffocatingly quiet. No wind, no cars, just the engine humming like it was afraid to be louder. When I reached the curve, my headlights washed over the bent guardrail. Twisted metal, old scars, fresh scratches. My phone buzzed. I see you. I slammed the brakes. Another message. I didn't die right away. My throat tightened. I knew this. He was alive for minutes after the crash, long enough to whisper my name, long enough to hope I'd come. Tears blurred my vision as I typed with trembling hands. Ethan, what do you want from me? This time, the pause stretched and stretched, like something was thinking or deciding. Finally, I wanted you to be there. Another message followed too quickly, almost overlapping itself. But I'm not alone anymore. A chill tore down my spine. What does that mean? Instant reply. Look left. I didn't want to turn. Every instinct screamed not to, but slowly, I did. At first, only trees, black silhouettes, no wind, no movement. Then something stepped into the edge of my headlights. A figure. Hunched. Wrong. Moving with a broken stiffness that wasn't human. It wore Ethan's jacket. The one he died in. The one stained with rainwater and blood from that night. My phone buzzed again. He found me after you didn't. The figure lifted its head. Its face wasn't Ethan's. It was torn, mangled, rearranged, but smiling like it knew me, like it had been waiting. The last message appeared. Now, he's coming for you. The figure took one slow step forward, then another, then run. Keep moving. Subscribe to What If's Horror and don't miss what's coming.
I started sleeping with the hallway light on again. Not because I'm scared of the dark, but because the dark started calling me by name. It started 3 months ago, on a Wednesday night that felt heavier than the others. I had just turned off the lights when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. The screen glowed faintly in the dark, cutting through the stillness like a slit of cold light. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something about the timing, 12:03 a.m. exactly made my chest tighten. I answered. Nothing. Not silence. Silence has softness. This didn't. This was a hollow, humming emptiness, the kind of quiet that lives deep inside abandoned buildings. I said hello twice, then hung up. Told myself it was a wrong number. But the next night, at the exact same time, it rang again. Unknown number. 12:03 a.m. The same suffocating quiet. I listened longer this time, trying to make sense of the faint, almost breathing sound beneath the static. It felt like someone was on the line, listening back, watching without eyes, waiting without words. By the seventh night, the calls had become part of my routine. I didn't want them, but I couldn't sleep without wondering when it would ring. It always did. It reminded me of when my father used to call late at night after drinking, waiting for me to answer, even when he wouldn't speak. Maybe that's why I kept picking up. Maybe the silence felt familiar. Sometimes I tried speaking to the quiet. Sometimes I whispered insults at it, hoping to provoke a response. Once, I begged it to stop. But the line never changed. Just that strange presence, heavy, patient, inhumanly calm. The first shift happened on night 12. When I answered, the static was louder, and beneath it, footsteps. Slow. Crunching. As if someone were walking through gravel or broken glass. I froze, phone pressed to my ear, breath barely moving. The footsteps stopped whenever I spoke, then continued when I went quiet. That night, after I hung up, the picture frame on my dresser rattled. Just once. No wind, no passing car. It was the first time the quiet on the phone felt physically close. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, my neighbor mentioned something odd. She said she'd seen someone standing outside my house around midnight, a tall, thin shape just beyond the streetlight facing my window. She couldn't see a face, just a silhouette that didn't move. I laughed it off, but it lodged itself in my mind like a splinter. By week 3, the calls changed again. The silence grew heavier, sticky. Sometimes I felt like the quiet was breathing with me, matching my inhales. Sometimes I thought I heard whispering, so faint I couldn't tell if it was real or if my exhaustion was finally splitting open. Then came the night everything shifted. Night 24. The call came at its usual time. My room felt colder than normal, the shadows stretched thin like pulled skin. When I answered, there was no static, no breathing, just a faint, rhythmic thumping, slow and deep, like a heartbeat. Not mine, not human. I forced myself to speak. What do you want? For the first time, the sound changed. A muffled scrape, a soft exhale, and then, very faint, my name, Michael, drawn out like a sigh leaking through broken teeth. I dropped the phone. My hands shook violently. I didn't pick it up again until the call ended on its own. The next day, I changed my number, bought a new phone, switched carriers, powered down the old one and locked it in a drawer. That night at 12:03 a.m., my new phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't answer. I won't answer again. But every night, without fail, it rings. Always at the same time, always waiting. And the worst part isn't the call itself. It's knowing the voice finally spoke my name, not because it found me, but because it remembers me. And it's still out there, waiting.
Subscribe to What If's Horror to face the next story.
It started with a vibration I almost ignored. My old phone, the one buried in a dusty box in my closet, buzzed after years of silence. I only kept it because the number once belonged to someone I should never have lost. My brother Daniel. After he died, I inherited it and kept it active for months, hoping for one last message that never came. When I finally switched carriers, I packed it away like a sealed wound. But that night, it buzzed again. I thought it was the battery twitching its last breath. But then the screen lit up, casting a pale glow across the closet. Incoming call. Your number. My old number. Daniel's number. Calling me. My pulse slammed into my ribs. Part of me wanted to run. A smaller, aching part wanted to answer. Against all logic, I swiped. Hello? Silence. Not empty, crowded, heavy, like someone stood inches from the mic, listening. I whispered, Daniel? A faint click answered. Then the call ended. I barely slept. The next night, at the exact same time, 1:14 a.m., it rang again. Incoming call. Your number. I answered with shaking hands. The same suffocating quiet, then a thin, cold breath. Not human. Say something, I whispered. A second breath. Static like a voice underwater. Then the line dropped. For a week, it continued. Always 1:14 a.m. Always the same sequence. Breath, static, nothing. It became a nightly dread. Everything changed on the 8th night. When I answered, I didn't hear breathing. I heard crying. Weak, muffled, as if buried beneath something heavy. Daniel? I whispered. The crying stopped instantly. Then his voice, warped, stretched, slid through the speaker. Why did you change the number? My heart twisted. It was him. Faint, but him. I couldn't take the silence, I whispered. Static roared, then softened into slow, rhythmic scratching, like fingernails dragging across wood. Where are you? I asked. A pause. You forgot where you left me. The air left my lungs. Daniel had died in our old lake cabin. I hadn't gone back since. The scratching grew louder. Come get me, he whispered. Then silence. I don't remember driving, only the cabin appearing through the dark, the door slightly open like it expected me. Inside, everything was cold and dust-covered, except Daniel's old writing desk. The dust there was disturbed, scraped. My phone buzzed. Incoming call. Your number. I answered. No breath, no static, just Daniel's whisper. Turn around. I did. No one there. But fresh footprints formed in the dust, walking toward me. I ran, didn't look back. The calls still come every night, always 1:14 a.m. And every time I try to block the number, it replies, You can't change me again. So tell me, what would you do if your dead number started calling you back?